Hi, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Nick Cosgrove, and I'm back with this week's No Filter Q&A. This is the episode where I answer all questions related to diet, training, and supplementation that I've received over the last 7 days from our in-house clients, online clients, as well as a few of our online followers. Remember, if you have any questions related to your nutritional plan, workout program, supplements you're taking, not taking, considering taking, please feel free to email me those questions at nick@foreverfitperformance.com, or you can DM me your questions on my Instagram at @fitcosgrove_. Okay, let's get started with this week's No Filter Q&A with question number 1. Hi, Nick. I had a question since I know you usually buy all your protein powder at Costco. Have you tried the new tubs of protein they have, or do you usually buy the bags? I can't believe how much cheaper it is at Costco than supplement stores and trying to cut my costs, but wondering about the quality of the protein. Yes, I do buy my protein powder at Costco. The one thing is the Costco here, downtown Vancouver, British Columbia, we have whey isolate available to us. So if it's a whey isolate protein powder, it's perfect, okay? Obviously, there's different qualities of whey protein powder out there, but I tell all my clients, as long as you're buying a whey isolate protein powder, you should be fine. Good way to know if you're buying a good quality protein powder is contains no more than 3 grams of carbs per serving, contains no less than 25 grams of protein per serving, and contains no more than 2 grams of fat per serving. Okay, so that's how you know you're purchasing a good quality protein source. Problem is with these supplement stores, the prices are ridiculously high because you're paying for these stores' rent. Okay, and they put a fancy label on a lot of the products they're selling, and really you're buying the same thing just at double the cost. So you're better off going to somewhere like Costco and just purchasing your protein powder there in a bag. I posted the bags that I buy at Costco. They're not fancy. They're kind of ugly looking. But you know what? It's a whey isolate protein powder. And I believe the ones that I'm using is about 30 grams of protein per serving, 1 grams of carbs, 0 grams of sugar. That's another one. You want to make sure your protein powder you're purchasing contains no more than 2 grams of sugar. The ones that I'm purchasing is 0 grams. And keep the fat to under 2 grams. But honestly, as long as you're purchasing a whey isolate protein powder, you can't go wrong, okay? So that's what you'd look for. I wouldn't waste your money on basic whey. I mean, if you're in a situation where there's nothing else available and you're on a budget and you can't find whey isolate, use the whey. But I would pay a little bit extra for the whey isolate, but don't get ripped off. Stay away from supplement stores. Look for your protein powder at places like Costco. There's another place you can purchase your protein powder from. Here in Canada, we have a website, supplementscanada.com. They're pretty good too. They've got deals all the time, especially on long weekends. So look out for those deals. And then, that's the best way to go about buying your supplements, either online or in stores like Costco, because these supplement stores, everything is overpriced. And honestly, I think they're on their way out. I don't think we're going to see supplement stores in the next 5-10 years because people can buy their supplements online now at a quarter of the cost, or they can go to big stores like Costco, Walmart, and buy them half the price. So I don't think supplement stores are going to be around for much longer. Where they seem to be making most of their money on now these days are on their protein shakes, right? They're making their smoothies, their smoothie bars. So that's where a lot of the supplement stores are actually making their money now. So, but who knows how long that's going to last. So buy whey isolate protein powder, works great. Works specifically great if you're lactose intolerant as well. It's a good quality whey. And fortunately here, downtown Vancouver, we do have access to the whey isolate at the Costco, but of course, every Costco is different. So if you don't have it available at yours, look online. Supplements Canada, that's a great place to start looking. All right, next question. Hi, Nick. I'd like to start training with you, but cannot afford your training rates right now. Is there another way I can still get coached by you at costs that will fit my budget? Thanks, Nick. Yeah, there's a few options. I mean, you can join one of our small group classes. Those are more cost-effective options for people who are on a budget and they still want to work with either myself or one of the trainers. Obviously, you're not going to get that same one-on-one coaching, that individual approach, that customized approach that you would get in a private training session. But our small group training works great. We usually do groups of anywhere from 5 to 10 people. Another option is to work with me on my online coaching app, right? I work with lots of people. I just signed up my 124th client today on an online coaching app. And what it allows me to do is work with each person individually by customizing a program specifically for you, tailoring a nutritional plan specifically for you. And we work together on a weekly basis. You can check in with me twice a week, ask questions with me any day of the week. I always get back to all my clients on any questions they have within 24 hours. So I'm very active on my online coaching app. And honestly, it's a fraction of the cost of a private training session or buying a private training package with me in person. So if you want to work with me and you can't afford to work with me in person, or maybe you don't live here in Vancouver, British Columbia, the online coaching app is a great way to go about it. Like I said, I'm very active on that coaching app, and I don't give generic programs. I don't put out cookie cutter plans. I really customize the plan specifically for you, your goals, your lifestyle, your fitness level. Okay, that's all very important. All that information is crucial to put a program together specifically for you that's going to help you get the best results. So small group training is one option. Work with me on my online coaching app, that's another option. And then if you still want to work with me in person, you could always join a friend or family member, pair up with somebody. We've got lots of clients that we can pair you up with as well. I've got a roster of clients who are always looking to work with somebody, cut the costs, split the cost of training in two. So if that's something you're interested in, you can always email me or send me a DM on Instagram and say, hey, I want to work with one of your clients. Let's set up a partner session. We can set that up for you as well. Okay, so small group training, partner training, or work with me online on my online coaching app. My online coaching app, just for those of you who don't know, you can download it on the App Store, Forever Fit Performance, and just send me an email or a DM and I'll send you a password and we'll get started. We'll set you up on a program. It can be done within 24 hours. Okay. So any questions with that, nick@foreverfitperformance.com or DM me on my Instagram, @fitcosgrove_. All right. Next question. Hi, Nick. Could you please tell me why you recommend brown rice over white rice? I noticed that brown rice contains more carbs and calories per 1 cup serving than white rice. So I'm just curious why you believe brown rice to be better. Okay, so here's the thing is when you're looking at foods, I've mentioned this in the past, you can't always look at the macronutrient value only, okay? And that's important because if you only look at the macronutrient value, it can be very deceiving. Okay, so especially when you're comparing things like white rice and brown rice. Yes, white rice contains less carbs, white rice contains less calories. But from an overall perspective, when you're looking at the entire day, what brown rice does, it has so many more benefits than white rice. Number one thing is brown rice contains loads more fiber than white rice does, right? What does fiber do? Well, fiber helps you stay regular, number one. Fiber actually keeps you feeling fuller for a longer period of time as well, okay? So with that being said, if you're having something like brown rice, it's going to help stabilize your blood sugar levels. It's going to help stabilize your insulin levels. And therefore, it's not going to make you crave more food, crave more carbs, crave more sugar later on in the day. The problem with foods like white rice, it does the complete opposite. White rice does not fill you up. White rice actually spikes your blood sugar levels. White rice makes you crave more carbs, more calories. So it's like the analogy I use with peanut butter. A lot of people try to stay away from peanut butter because they look at, oh my God, it's 100 calories for a tablespoon. I'm like, right. But that 1 tablespoon of peanut butter is going to keep you feeling fuller for a longer period of time because of the fats in it. So don't be afraid of foods like peanut butter or extra virgin olive oil, even though they're calorically dense, as long as you're not having like 5 or 6 tablespoons of it, it will allow you to stay fuller for a longer period of time, provide you with more energy, and therefore keep your caloric intake for the day much lower, okay? So you have to look at food in that way. So don't always just look at the macronutrients, okay? You wanna look at the micronutrients, the quality of the food that you're consuming, okay? So that's why I recommend brown rice over white rice. And I'm well aware that there's a lot of people out there, specifically online, that will argue with that. But I'll tell you, from someone who ate white rice for 5 years versus someone versus now where I've eaten white rice for the past, oh God, I think 20 years, I've noticed a huge difference, okay? With my digestive system, the way I feel, how I feel fuller for a longer period of time. It's just, my energy levels are constant throughout the day. I don't need to pick me up in the afternoon. I don't need to have that caffeine high. I don't need to have a double espresso shot at 2 in the afternoon or just to keep me awake. As long as I'm eating a lot of fiber in my diet and I'm getting good complex carbohydrates like brown rice, like quinoa, like sweet potatoes, like yams, like oatmeal, all those foods, that's going to help keep my energy levels stable, allow my blood sugar levels to remain stable, my insulin levels to remain stable, and provide me with loads of energy throughout the day. So that's why I recommend brown rice over white rice. Okay. Hi, Nick. I travel for work a lot, and because of this, the gyms I train at are always different. Is there a way you can create a dumbbell-only workout for me that I can do from anywhere? Absolutely. join my online coaching app. I actually have workouts that are free weight workouts only. If you want a generic plan, you can have that plan for free. But if you want me to customize a program for you and provide you with, like, say, a 3-day training split that's just free weights only, dumbbells, barbells, kettlebells, I can do that as well. But absolutely, I think that I've always mentioned that I believe free weights to be optimal over machines anyway. So majority of the exercises I do with clients in my gym are mostly dumbbells, barbells, kettlebells, some cable machines. But if you don't have access to cable machines, that's not a problem at all, because any exercise that you can do on a cable machine, you can do a free weight version of. I promise you. So you can target every single muscle group with dumbbells. And I can easily design that for you. I can customize that for you. You just have to download the coaching app, Forever Fit Performance, on the App Store. Send me an email, DM me. I'll send you a password and we'll get started. So I definitely design free weight only programs. I design training splits. The great thing about my workout programs as well is there's a video attached to every single exercise that I put in your plan. So there's no guessing, how do I do this exercise? There's an exercise tutorial video of me doing the exercises. So you don't have to go to YouTube and try to figure out, well, what's this exercise? Or you don't have to send me a question and ask me, well, how do I do this exercise? It's all there. So when you're in the gym, you can just click on the exercise. It comes up right away. The video comes up right away, and you can watch how to do it. You can rewind it. You can play it over and over again and make sure you're doing it correctly. Okay. Another thing you can do with the app is you can always record yourself doing the exercise and send me the video, and I'll critique your form and technique, and I'll give you some feedback to let you know what I think, what you should change or what you should keep the same. So I definitely work with people by just designing training programs only for them if they're not interested in the nutritional component, and happy to do that for you. So DM me or send me an email and let's get started. Okay. Okay, Nick, if I'm going to go out for a few drinks, would it be better to stick to beer, wine, or hard liquor? I like to go out for drinks on the weekends and be social. Thanks. Honestly, it might not be a popular decision, but I'm a firm believer in using hard liquor over the three. And the reason why is, not excessively, but if you're sticking to, let's say, 2 or 3 drinks, hard liquor will usually contain fewer calories than something like beer and wine, because with beer, we tend to drink more beer, right? You know, there's guys out there and women who will drink anywhere from 12 to 24 beers in a night out. That's a lot of calories, right? With wine, same thing. You know, most people don't just drink 1 glass of wine. Some people drink 2-3 bottles of wine in one sitting. I have clients that I know drink 2 bottles of wine a night to themselves. So that's a lot of calories. It's a lot of sugar. So you're better off sticking to something like gin soda, for example. That's a great mix, because gin is not very high in calories, about 65, 70 calories for 1 ounce. And then you're looking at soda where there's no calories, right? So it's what you mix your hard liquor with. You want to do, say, vodka and soda, same thing, very low calories. Or if you want to do, let's say, a vodka and Diet Coke, again, it's not, I'm never going to say it's healthy, but I'm going to tell you that it's healthier than sticking with wine and beer, because wine and beer, we tend to drink more of it. It's loaded in calories. Wine, you got sugar, right? Beer, you got carbs. So with hard liquor, you don't have either of that. So you don't have to worry about that. And again, most people, not all people, but most people don't drink excessively high when they drink hard liquor. Like when I go out, I might have 2 or 3 drinks. That's it. And I feel great off that the next day. I'm not hungover. I don't feel bloated. And I usually stick to something like scotch, or I'll usually stick to something like a gin and soda, or I'll stick to something like a vodka Diet Coke, right? And I'm keeping my calories low, I'm keeping my sugars low, and I'm keeping my carbohydrates low, okay? So that's what I recommend you do when you go out and drink. And as I said, you don't want to drink huge quantities of alcohol, obviously, but that's going to help keep your calories in line at least, and not go over. Because remember, if you do go into a caloric surplus, you're going to put on weight. So if you're going to go and drink, you might as well save some calories, stick to your hard liquors. If you're going to mix them with something like soda, that would be my first choice, or mix them with a diet drink. But stay away from those sugary cocktails and stuff like that, because that's not good. That's loaded with calories. So we don't want to do those. Okay. So that's what I'd recommend. Okay. Hey, hi, Nick. Maybe a strange question, but I was wondering if it's normal to have an increase in libido when lifting weights. I started working out again in September, and my libido is higher now at 43 than it's ever been before I since started back at the gym. Absolutely. A high libido is one of the benefits of working out on a regular basis for both men and women. because working out specifically with weights will help elevate your testosterone levels. High testosterone levels usually equate to increased libido, right? So people who work out regularly and exercise regularly typically notice that they have a higher libido, higher sex drive, okay, than as opposed to people who don't exercise regularly. On top of that, I'd recommend following a fairly clean diet, because if you're following a diet that's full of saturated fats, trans fats, simple carbohydrates, I always say eat like shit, feel like shit, right? So if you feel like shit, you're not going to have a high libido. You're not going to have a high sex drive. So you want to work out on a regular basis. You want to exercise. You want blood flowing, because, like I said, an increase in physical activity, physical exertion is going to increase your libido. It's going to increase your sex drive. So absolutely, that's normal. Don't think there's something wrong with that. Take advantage of that. If you're working out more, have more sex, hopefully with the same partner, or if you have multiple partners, safe sex, but that's your business. That's not my business. But I would definitely recommend working out on a regular basis, on a consistent basis, not just for the benefits of your aesthetics and your health, but also for your libido, because working out regularly does increase your libido. That is completely normal, and not just for men, for women as well. Okay. You talk to women who work out on a regular basis and they'll tell you they have a high libido. They do. And guys, honestly, if you're having problems in the bedroom, or you're having problems with a low sex drive, start lifting weights. I promise you, it's going to help increase your testosterone, and you're going to notice a huge difference. Okay, it might not happen overnight, but after a few weeks of going to the gym, lifting weights on a regular basis, you will notice an elevation in sex drive and increased libido. I promise you, it's completely normal, and it happens to pretty much every guy I work with. They notice it and they tell me. I'm like, yeah, good. Keep lifting, keep having sex. Okay. Nick, do you think social media has positively or negatively impacted how people view health and fitness now? Oh, you know what's interesting is I'm getting a lot of questions now about social media. I think it's probably because I'm making quite a few posts about social media, and where I feel we as a society are going down a bad route with social media. The constant need for that instant gratification. You know, you need to have people who are constantly being assured that they look good, right? So they're posting photos of themselves in bikinis, or the guys are posting shirtless selfies. And you know, if you need validation from strangers, there's something wrong there, right? There's something missing. So I don't mind, and I've said this a few times, I don't mind people posting photos of themselves in bikinis or shirtless selfies. But if it's constant, if it's daily, and it's in their stories, it's a little much. And I mentioned in the past how this can actually be unmotivating and discouraging for a lot of people who are trying to get in shape, who are just trying to work on their health and fitness, because they see these people and they're like, there's no way I'll ever be able to obtain this kind of physique. And it's not motivating. So it's about how you deliver the message. So as I mentioned in the past, I think social media can be detrimental for some people when it comes to achieving their health and fitness goals. And for those people, I do recommend just logging off social media completely, block out the noise. For myself personally, I don't really pay attention to it. Honestly, I use my social media for business. I put up posts, I put up workout tips. I'm not really cruising Instagram and looking at photos of girls in bikinis or guys who are shirtless and posing in the mirror and doing their ab checks and all that nonsense, because that to me is not motivating. Now, again, as I mentioned, if someone's putting up a transformation photo where they've gone from, let's say, 40% body fat and they're now looking at like 12 or 14% body fat, that to me is very motivating. So I will like that post. I might even share that post, even if it's not a client of mine, because that to me is motivating. But taking pictures of your ass in the squat rack, or, you know, taking these, the booty gains, and again, these ab checks where guys are lifting their shirts and checking their abs, that to me is not motivating. That to me is thirsty. You're just thirsty for attention. You're looking for validation from strangers. And honestly, I feel bad for those people, because there's something missing. They're not getting that from the people in their inner circle. Right. So there's obviously something going on in their own lives where they feel they need that constant validation from strangers. So it's thirsty. I don't like it. I don't think it represents health and fitness in a good way. But as I said, I don't really have an issue with people doing it. I mean, if they want to do it, that's up to them. It's not something that I would say, don't do it. But me personally, you don't really see me doing that. And it's just because I don't really find that to be motivating for anyone. So like I said, if you have a transformation photo or you're showing like, hey, look, this is where I started and this is where I am now, I'm all for that. But if you're someone who's posting daily photos of yourself posing in the mirror and like those photos in bikinis and all this nonsense, to me, that's not motivating. So take it as you will. If you're, like I said a few weeks ago on the channel, if you're someone who finds that all those posts and all those videos of people working out and showing their results to be a little bit demotivating, right, and discouraging, and it's just making you feel bad about yourself, just log off social media for a few weeks. Take a social media break. That's very important. It's like for mental health, take a break, log off, and just focus on what you're doing. Get back to the basics and say, look, I'm focused on me right now. This is where I'm starting and this is where I want to go. And I'm going to block out all the noise. That's what I would do. So it can be beneficial in some ways, but unfortunately, in a lot of ways, I think it can be detrimental. Okay. Next question. Hi, Nick. Should a natural weightlifter follow the same program as someone who is using steroids? I've been a lifelong natural athlete and wondering if and how I should be training differently than some of the professional bodybuilders I follow on Instagram. That's a really good question. And it's actually a question I've received a few times in the past. So when you're talking about a natural lifter versus an enhanced lifter, in my opinion, there should be some changes to a program on how you approach your workout program, I should say. Okay, not many changes, but there should be some changes. Like someone who's enhanced and someone who's natural can still follow the same training program. However, my recommendation, if you're someone who's natural, is to train with, for example, higher repetitions, less rest periods, less volume than someone who's enhanced. Because don't forget, if you're enhanced, which means you're using anabolic steroids, you do have a crutch. I don't want to call it cheating, because if you're training for a bodybuilding competition and it's an untested sport, pretty much everyone's using, so you're not cheating. But at the same time, it's ridiculous to think that someone who is natural is going to achieve the same results as someone who's enhanced. Now, if someone who's natural is training their ass off versus someone who's enhanced who's half-assing it, then yeah, the person who's natural will probably get better results. But let's just say that the person who's natural and the person who's enhanced, they're both trained with the utmost amount of intensity. They're going to the gym 5-6 days a week. The person who's enhanced is most likely going to get significantly better results, quicker results, right? Genetics do play a role, but anabolic steroids, we know they do help. But when someone is natural, my recommendation, as I said, is to keep your repetitions fairly high. So try to stay in that 10 to 15 rep range. And the reason for that is you're going to be able to stimulate more muscle, okay, as opposed to someone who's enhanced might be doing that 3 to 6, maybe 8 rep range on some of their sets because they've already had that anabolic steroids in their system, right? So for them to stimulate muscle, it doesn't take much. So that's why with most of my clients, especially the ones who are natural, which is the majority of my clients, I mean, I do train a few people who do use enhancements, of course, like I've never kept that a secret, but I still keep their reps 10 to 15. And that's for any of my natural lifters, okay? I really think that's, as a natural athlete, you're going to get more out of that by keeping your reps high, keeping your volume not necessarily low, but lower than someone who's enhanced. And, you know, for myself, I'm a natural lifter. So my workouts, and I've talked about this in the past, are no more than 40 to 45 minutes. For me, I feel that's more than enough. I train really hard when I'm in those 40, 45 minutes. I block out all the noise. I'm not checking Instagram. I'm not checking my text messages. I'm not even talking to people in the gym. I just have my headphones on and I just train for 40 to 45 minutes. And that's it. And I find that I don't overtrain the body that way. I stimulate and not annihilate the muscle, as the great Lee Haney once said, right? Those who don't know Lee Haney, I definitely recommend you Google him. One of the best Mr. Olympias of all time, 8-time Mr. Olympia from 1984 to 1991. So you want to stimulate, not annihilate the muscle, okay? So keep your reps high, keep your rest periods short, and keep your intensity at maximum intensity as high as you possibly can, but also keep your volume and your workouts a little bit on the lower side. So whenever I talk about high volume, yeah, I'm a firm believer of using high volume workouts, but if you're someone who's enhanced, you could probably add on more volume, right? Versus someone who's natural. So that's how things change. Would I follow the same training program as someone who's enhanced? I'd probably tweak it a little bit, but the exercises, like there's no reason why someone who's natural can't do a barbell back squat, just like someone who's enhanced is doing a barbell back squat. So you don't need to change the exercises and change everything. You just have to make sure you're training a little bit more intelligently, right? Train a little bit more strategically. so that you follow your proper sequences, right? You make sure if you're circuit training that every circuit makes sense. Someone who's enhanced doesn't have to necessarily worry about that. They can just kind of go into the gym and just structure a program, put something together, and just follow it as is, and they'll get some results because their body isn't in an anabolic state. Okay. So I'm not saying that it's necessarily easier to train if you're enhanced. However, you will get quicker results as opposed to a natural athlete. And therefore, if you are a natural athlete, you have to think outside the box and you have to think, okay, what's going to work for me, for my body type? How am I going to get the best results with the tools that I have? And that's why I always recommend to natural athletes, keep your workouts 40 to 45 minutes, no more than that. A lot of my clients who work with me in the gym, yeah, we do 60-minute workouts, but 60-minute workouts, they include rest periods, instruction, teaching, all that. So we still, for the most part, it's about a 40, 45 minute of actual lifting. Okay. And I find that works best for most people who are natural. All right, last question. Oh, another steroid question. Hi, Nick. What are your thoughts on women taking steroids? I'm competing in my first fitness competition in November, and my coach recommends I go on an anavar and testosterone cycle to help add and maintain muscle while dieting. What kind of cycles do your female clients who compete follow? Okay, so I don't recommend women go on steroid cycles. I've never recommended that. And I don't have a single woman on my roster who I train for fitness competitions that uses steroids, not even the oral steroids. So no Anavar, no Winstrol, no Halotestin, none of that stuff. I'm a firm believer that if women take steroids, especially for a prolonged period of time, and I'm saying, when I say prolonged period of time, I'm talking like 12 to 16 weeks. That to me is a prolonged period of time. I feel like the side effects, not all the side effects, but a lot of the side effects are irreversible. So for example, when you notice when a lot of women, they go on anabolic steroid cycles, they might get facial hair, right? And even when they come off that cycle, that facial hair doesn't go away. Another thing is a lot of women notice that they get a deeper voice. When they come off that cycle, that deeper voice does not go away. So the effects for a lot of women, and I've seen this over the years in the fitness industry, the women who go on steroid cycles, the facial hair, the deeper voice, sometimes even an enlarged clitoris, that all comes into play when you are on an anabolic steroid cycle. Okay. And a lot of those side effects are, as I said, they're irreversible. Guys can kind of get away a little bit with that because not all guys, but you know, if you do it smart, you do it intelligently, and you come off and you go on, you do your PCT. Guys, we're a little bit more resilient when it comes to being on steroid cycles. But for the most part, I still advise a lot of the guys I work with, if they're going to go on steroid cycles, just to make sure that they go on, let's say, go on a cycle that is not too heavy, higher in dosage. And when they come off, or let's say they're on for 16 weeks, and they're off for 16 weeks. Right. And anything that they're using, they keep the dosages on the smaller side, because anything in excess will always cause long-term side effects. So you got to be careful with that too. So the men don't get a free pass. But as far as women taking steroids, I'm against it. I don't think women should take steroids, and that includes the orals. I know a lot of women will take oral steroids like Anavar, probably the safest of all the steroids. And I know there's a lot of women who compete in bikini and physique and fitness who do take Anavar. Maybe they'll take some fat burners like clenbuterol or Cytomel. Again, I wouldn't recommend it just because it can have an effect on your thyroid. It can have an effect on your estrogen levels. And, you know, you're playing with fire. So if you're a woman who's competing, and let's say you want to have kids down the line, I know women who compete who, after they compete or while they're competing, they don't get their period. And sometimes their period doesn't come back. So you've got to be really careful with this stuff. This is not like just stuff that you'd walk into your supplement store, like vitamin B or vitamin C, and just buy it and there won't be any negative side effects. These are real pharmaceutical drugs and they have serious side effects. So if you're making that decision as a woman to go on steroids, don't make it half-assed. Really think about what you're doing, because the long-term side effects are serious. And you don't have to take my word for it. Look at any women or woman who's been competing on the Olympia stage for the last like 5-10 years. You'll notice that they have a deeper voice if they're using anabolic steroids, which at that professional level, most are using some form of anabolic steroids. So I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't recommend it. Of course, it's your body, your decision. You're an adult, but I don't train women that use steroids. I don't advise it. So if a woman's working with me for a fitness competition and they want to go down that route, I usually refer them to another coach because I say, I wouldn't know how to help you. I work with women for fitness competitions who are natural. The guys I work with for fitness competitions, I work with both natural and enhanced because I know how to program that. But I wouldn't feel comfortable programming an anabolic steroid cycle for a woman because I just don't believe in it. I feel that the side effects are too risky. So if you want my personal opinion, if you're a woman, I would not use steroids. Absolutely not. Okay. Anyway, that's it for this week's No Filter Q&A. This episode will be going up on Tuesday, October the 24th. As a reminder, if you do have any questions related to your diet, training, or supplementation, please feel free to email me your questions at nick@foreverfitperformance.com or DM me your questions on my Instagram at @fitcosgrove_. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting my business. And I will see you all next time. Bye for now.